And today it's all about running your adventures, and the topic is haunted towns or ghost towns. And we're going to be going through some of the things that you kind of really need to have. But before we do that, very quickly, I just want to say I'm going to put up a poll. Feel free to take part in that poll. Grab some food, some drink, make sure you're comfortable. And we're going to get into this as quickly as I possibly can. I'm going to point out right now, I'm going to be going over stuff that I haven't gone over before. So if you have been here before for these, this is new material. In any case, let's get started, shall we? And I'll just unconnect to myself. Here we go. Hit that button. Hi, welcome to How to RPG. My name is Fred Wheeler, and today I want to talk about sort of the ultimate guide to designing your own haunted town for your adventures. Now, this is a topic that is actually quite detailed, and I've gone over many different reasons and things that you might want to consider. And I thought it would be great to look at something a little bit different. Now, I know right now you're probably thinking, well, what about the other stuff? What about the purpose of our ghost town? What about, what sort of wandering monsters do I have here? What sort of random encounters will I include? How do I role play ghosts in my ghost town? How do I approach them? What sort of buildings? Are they crumbling buildings, empty buildings, cemeteries, that sort of thing, churches, abandoned houses, general stores, taverns, the jailhouse, the ghost schoolhouse, those sorts of things, motels, inns. Look, we have kind of gone over those things before, but at its core, really the only thing you need to concern yourself with designing your own ghost or haunted town is the story behind that particular location. If you can nail that down and you can get a good one, then that's a good starting point. The rest will follow. The rest is actually pretty much generic. What you'll find is most of the time a ghost town or haunted town are going to essentially have the same elements, the same locations. In many respects, they're going to look very similar, but it's the story or the adventure hook behind that. So I thought what I would do is I would talk about adventure hooks today. And I'm going to give you just a whole bunch of them. I'm just going to read through a whole lot of little stories that you could potentially use. Now, we've worked on these before, and if you might be familiar with them, you might not be. You can have a town that was abandoned many years ago. Travellers have passed through here, often reporting some sort of ominous earthquake accompanied by strange clawing sounds below the ground. And what is actually happening is there is a behemoth that lives under the abandoned town that must be dealt with by the party. We're not actually dealing with a ghost town because there are ghosts there. It is an abandoned town because something has pretty much driven everybody away. You can also have, travellers that are passing through an abandoned town report being attacked by, say, the shadows of the buildings and structures, and the party is requested to investigate. Let's find out what's going on. So this is like a mystery, and it doesn't necessarily need to be ghosts. It doesn't need to be spirits. It might be something completely different. We might be dealing with the merging of two worlds, and it just happens to be taking place in this abandoned town, this haunted place. The player characters have acquired the deed to an abandoned town. Now that the party has acquired that deed, they're going to clean it up. But unfortunately, their first point of call is they need to clear out a few ghosts that are actually still here, okay? So you're really sending them on a ghost-busting adventure, really. It might be temporary, it might be permanent, it might be an ongoing process that they never really resolve. But yeah, they have their own haunted location to deal with. You could have a town of ghosts that exists in the clouds, where the ghost town, the shadow actually formed over the land, spreads plague, famine, floods, natural disasters, monsters raid settlements wherever it goes. The player characters are now requested to stop this town that exists in the clouds from spreading its mayhem. The dead population of a town revive once a year, and they throw a huge festival or party, and all are invited, but few actually escape this festival, as the undead or the dead townsfolk feed on their guests. You could have the dead chief of a haunted village has important information, and the party must persuade the chief's ghost to release the information, and then they can then lay him to rest. The descendants of a monarch expelled from a fortified citadel might request that they claim back a city or a castle that was abandoned centuries ago. And the city or castle is, in many respects, a sort of like a fortified town in some respect. You could have a prosperous halfling village that has been abandoned many years ago. Signs of a great feast were discovered, and the players' characters are now hired to investigate what's taken place to all the halflings. A very remote ghost town on the frontier doesn't appear on any map, because often ghost towns don't appear on maps as it happens. And when the players' characters visit, there's one person who comes out claiming to be starving and in need of food. The next night there are 2 people, then 3. And if the players' characters stop to feed the starving people, they discover that everyone is in fact a ghoul, and they are simply feeding on whatever anybody brings, and they will eventually feed on the player characters. You could have a legendary ale recipe that was lost in the ages that have passed, and venturing into a lost town or a haunted location will allow them to go on an expedition to recover that lost recipe. You could have a town that was abandoned long ago, and every time a group of people try to occupy the town, they are harassed by an unknown assailant. And the original inhabitants moved underground long ago, and they actually defend the town above. So they're not actually ghosts. They're just living in a different location, and the town is just sort of like a front. You could have a town and its population that only appear at night and then vanish during the day. So why is this the case? You have a legendary blade that lies within the ruins of an abandoned town, and you must retrieve it in order to vanquish your foe. So explore that location. You can have a town overgrown by the jungle, and it is rumoured to be cursed, and the local legend says that none who visit the town ever return. So why is that? There will be a reason for it, right? A town that appeared overnight, which is bursting or bristling with sun, or bustling with activity when the sun goes down. However, the denizens are almost definitely soulless during the day. So what's going on? There's something peculiar taking place here. You could have a town that grew while a local mine was profitable, and now the mine is out. It's played out, and now the town has been abandoned. But something still lives here. A merchant passing through might inform the party that the town they're heading to seems to have been abandoned, and the merchant was just there a week ago, he doesn't know why. There were people there, and now there's no trace. Everybody is just gone. So what has happened? The adventurers might hear a gang of doppelgangers have been talking over business, but when they arrive to investigate, the town is empty of humanoids. Like, that's strange. What happened? So there's so many different ways you could present this. And I could go on and on and on and on. In fact, I have many, many more. We've created these in the past. But at its heart, whenever you're talking about a haunted location, a haunted town, or a ghost town, at its core, it's the story behind what's going on. Why is it haunted? What's taking place? And is there anything that we can do, or the player characters can do, to change what is currently occurring in this location? So what has happened in the past, and how can they change it? And those are ultimately sort of what you're looking for. All the rest kind of falls into place once you get that sorted out. Now, I'm hoping this was useful to you, and if it was, fantastic. I want to thank my patrons who support me on Patreon so I can keep doing this every single week. And I want to thank you for watching, and hey, hopefully it was useful to you. Until next time, keep rolling those 20s. Now, okay. Good morning. Hello. How is everybody? I see Fred Hubbard is here. Fred Hubbard is a patron. Thank you for being here, Fred. So, I'm feeling like we are getting very close to the end of what I kind of need to do here. But it really comes down to how much gets done. And my intention is, once I feel like this topic is done to death and we've done everything we need to do with it, that I will release the information onto Patreon, and you can then just have it as a compiled resource that you can use to do whatever you need to do with it. That's really where my head was at with regard to how to go forward with this. So I think what we're going to do today is we're going to fill out some of the locations. We haven't done that really yet. We've done a little bit of it, but we haven't done a lot of it. And I still think that there's plenty left to go with that topic. And certainly we could talk more and more and more about various adventure hooks and so forth. But ultimately, I'm going to say right now, I think we need to just deal with populating locations. Populating them with things that we think would be there. Because what we haven't approached yet is the exploration aspect. Hi, how's it going, Vorth? How are you? Lurking for now and listening. Long day. No, I totally understand. I'm a little bit sick. I'm a bit more nasally than I normally are, and I apologise for that, but I can't do anything about it. I am doing the best I can. So I'm going to put forward a document, and what we're going to do is we're going to populate each location with all the different things that you think you might need to know about there. What do you got here, Fred? Haunted towers, of course, need undead. Ghouls, ghosts, banshee, skeletons, zombies, and decaying furniture. So that last point, Fred Hubbard, is where I want to go. Because that's the next major problem that most of us have is like, okay, we can populate it with creatures, we can populate it with individuals, but we need to populate it with things that the players can explore and find and interact with. And that's what we're going to do today, is cover that sort of stuff. And I'm going to go backwards rather than forwards, so we're going to start sort of at the back rather than at the front and work our way from there. Now, we already have sort of picked out the sort of locations we think are going to be very popular or a regular feature in any kind of haunted town or ghost town. And we're going to start off with the schoolhouse. Okay, again, we only have a couple of ideas here. So what do you find in an old school or an old style schoolhouse? We had blackboard, books, diaries, but there's actually quite a lot more. So I'm going to pull up and do a little bit of a Google search here. Old school house furniture and items. What do we got here? Maybe this is not going to work. Maybe this is no. Let's do just furniture and start with that. Now, I'm not old enough to have have actually Matakana old school. Oh God, really? This is weird. Matakana is my old school. How did it come up on Google? Matakana is my old school. I wouldn't say you'd find tapestries in a school. I think very unlikely that's going to be happening. What do you find in a old schoolhouse? Okay. Yeah, Frisco's, I doubt it. I very much doubt it. I even the older styles, like, when I think about some of the older style schoolhouses I've seen, I've never really seen much in the way of Frisco's. They don't really spend that much money on those locations. They're very basic buildings. Unless you're dealing with a highfalutin place, we're dealing with a town. I don't think we're going to be finding that sort of thing. God, that's so weird. How is it come up with Matakan School? It's probably not my old school, is it? It's probably not my old school. It'll probably be somebody else's old school. That is just so strange. That is so strange. Okay. I'm very familiar with the old desks. Blackboard, old desk. Historical pictures and maps. No, I don't think so. But a map, yes, we used to have maps up on the walls. I do remember that. I don't think we'd have historical pictures. I don't think none of us really gave a toss about that thing, but that sort of stuff. You got to remember it's a working classroom, right? And it's abandoned too in this case. So let's go with old map, old local map. Probably is probably what you would find for sure. Books, yes. Scrolls for lessons. Yeah, parchment paper. Parchment paper. Yeah, only the teacher had the book. The students copied from their board. That's very true. Yeah, if you would, I would say that's very true because books were expensive. An abacus, yes. An abacus, good idea. Wooden desks, small wooden desks. Wooden desks. Wooden chairs. Large teacher desk. That was pretty common. What else? Chalk. Now, I can't remember what they used. I remember going into a sort of a museum that showed an old school, and one of the things you almost immediately discover is they had their drawing and writing implements were very different. I think it was a charcoal stick. Charcoal stick. Which frankly looked really, really messy. Rope jump, chalk, cane, slipper, cane. Yes, the cane. Yes, yeah, I remember the cane. The cane. Ouch. What else have we got here? It's not too bad so far. Flag. I'm just trying to think if we had, if there was a flag, the New Zealand flag in our schoolhouse. And I'm thinking about that now, and yeah, there was often a flag. How's it going, China 81? Slate table, slate tablets, yes. Slate tablets, flag. Light. So that's a lot of this stuff. And also balls. Okay, okay, so a ball, jump rope. That was pretty common. I remember they used to pull it out. Clay and stylus. A little water and rubbed could black out the. Okay. I'm a little bit. I'm not quite sure what you're saying there, Fred. I'm trying to figure that out. Well, no, we're going to say this is a generic schoolhouse. So let's go with the most simplified schoolhouse we can think of. I want you to think Old West or 1800s. New Zealand, 1800s. UK or Great Britain 1800s, Old West 1800s American small town location. So let's work with that and then figure out what we need to have there. What else was there that I can think of? Oh, we used to have the multiplication tables, maths tables. Math tables. Poster. I'll put this over here though. Take this out. Cut there. Of maths tables. Okay, cool. Right. Before they used chalk and chalkboards, they used the clay and stylus. Time can vary with the... right, yes. Yeah, gym equipment. I don't think there's going to be a lot of gym... I'm thinking about, the schools that I've come from, and there wasn't a lot of that sort of thing. I don't know that would be necessarily gym equipment, but we had balls, had jump rope. I don't really think that there was very much more. There wasn't a lot. It really depends on your age too. Gym gear, maybe. Stools, Douncer's cap. A Douncer's what's a Douncer's cap, Sean 81? I'm lost. You got to remember there is a cultural difference between yourself and myself. The world that you remember is not the world that I remember. Okay, because we lived in a different part of the world. 4 elements until they figure out about the chemistry and that being okay. Clay, stylus. The Board of Education, paddle of enforcement. Oh, that's right. I've seen one of those. That's right. Let's do this. Let's cut that bit there. And we go here. Punishment cane and the paddle. I remember the cane and I remember the paddle. I don't remember the paddle coming out that often, but I remember the rubber tire. Did anybody have to contend with the rubber tire? I don't think that's something I want to put in there, frankly. That was the most that was the worst of them all, if you ask me. Was the strip of tire rubber from a tire. That was so bad. Box of toys, yes. Yeah, a box of toys, yeah. I'd say that'd be about right. Box of wooden blocks. That was such a common thing. Box of toys. Really depends on what age you were. The lost and found box. Yes, lost and found box. Yeah, absolutely. I can see that. Old punishment. The Dounce cap. I'm just trying to God, it's like, yeah, I don't remember this one. I do remember stools. There were occasionally stools in the classroom. There was usually only one stool. How's it going, Derp? No, you're not really late. We're just working our way into what would you find in a schoolhouse. We're doing all right. I feel like we've got quite a few different things. Let's just see if I can go back here. So, what do you find in a old schoolhouse? Okay. All right. This is... Oh, it's bringing up all the old school houses from New Zealand here for me. I'm not sure why. Okay, so this is just a sales thing. Neat places. Yes, I remember this. No, this doesn't look right though. This is a tourist resort. This is all going to be tourist stuff. Okay, all right. We're not going to be getting it off the internet. We're going to have to be doing this ourselves. Yes, I've got map down. I've got map. What's that? Multiple-sided solid figures. Crude graffiti? Yes. Yes. I'd agree. It doesn't even have to be crude graffiti, but there'll be some graffiti. You didn't like doing it because I always found they used to make you sand it off after they had punished you, which is not good. A toilet? You might find a toilet, but most of the time, yeah. Yeah, I suppose there is toilet area. Toilet area. Graffiti under the desks. You didn't really want to do that. I don't know about you, but when I was at school, if you all got assigned a desk and you had to stay at the same desk all year round, and if the teacher noticed there was graffiti on your desk, even if you didn't do it, you got into a lot of trouble. The outhouse, yes. The outhouse, toilet area, outhouse, or long drop, as I called it, long drop shed. This is what we call it here in New Zealand, just a long drop shed. God, I hated the long drop shed. It was the worst. It was the worst. Okay, so there's our schoolhouse. Let's move on to something else. Let's do, what do you find in a hotel or an inn? Yeah? Hashtag. What do you find in a old hotel or inn? All right. Let us work on that location. We'll ignore that little note there in the first sentence. Let us go here. So what do we find here? A bell, yeah, reception, pot plants, yes. Pot plants. Probably dead pot plants. Dead. Dead pot plants. They won't be alive anymore if we're dealing with a ghost town. A bell. I would say that a portable bell. A guest book, beds, of course. Guest book. Absolutely. Desk, mail cubbies, yes. Let's go reception. Reception desk. Mail cubbies. cupboards. Let's cupboards. Mail cupboards. Yes, what was it? A panel key holder. This is a large panel that holds all the keys on. Sofa, yes. Sofas. Yep, we could do that. Might have a chandelier for sure. Chandelier. Chandeliers. What else we got here? Kitchen. The bar. You could have the bar. Yes, we have the bar. Stables. No, we're not putting stables there. Key hangers. A safe. Yes, a safe. Stables is going to be somewhere else. We're not going to put the stables right next to the inn. Maids, yes, you would, but remember, it's now an abandoned, ghost or haunted location, so that you know the maids are gone. Old newspaper, bulletins. That's a good idea. Good point. Old newspapers, bulletins. Okay, yes. Bedrooms, you're talking about rooms. So we'll break it up. We'll break it up into rooms. Rooms you find in a inn. So kitchen, a reception, bedrooms, I guess toilet, possibly, maybe not. Let's take the toilet out. Actually, let's put the toilet. It's the bowl in the corner of the room. The lounge. You'd probably have a lounge. You have the bar area. Did I put down bar? Yes. Lobby, yes. Pool, I don't think we're not putting a pool in there. Lobby. Dining room, yes, there would probably be a dining room. Dining room, storage room. Tool shed or maintenance shed. Yeah, there might be a tool shed or a maintenance shed. A ballroom. It's a hotel or inn. It's not a mansion. I don't think we'd have a ballroom. I think you're thinking of Las Vegas right now. Okay, go back to the 1800s. The 1800s, you probably don't have a ballroom. You would just have. There's not going to be enough space. It isn't going to work. So we'll leave that one off. Tool shed. Yeah, maybe a tool shed. Okay. Suggestions change to rooms you might find rooms you might find in. There we go. That's it. Good. Dining room. Okay, so we've got. I think that's pretty much covered everything. Oh, you'd have a bathroom. You may not have a bathroom, and when you think about it, a lot of bathing wasn't necessarily done there. You may have a bathroom, but you may not. That's a good point. Okay, we'll put bathroom. Okay, all right. So back to populating our thing. Our inn. We have a lot of various things that you can find. I think what we'll do is furniture. Furniture you might find in an inn. Okay, let's just port over anything that's a bit of furniture. All the other smaller items, not so much. Okay, beds. That's pretty obvious. Reception desk, mail cubby hole. Yes, sofas, chandeliers, the bar, a safe. Okay, let's go cut. Paste. Okay, all right. A bellhop cart. That's a good point. You probably would have a bellhop cart. Might not be that fancy. Bellhop cart. Bellhop cart. Billiard tables. Yeah, I suppose you might have one. In the lounge, there might be a billiard table. Although I do feel like billiards is probably more likely to be found in a tavern or saloon. Really just depends, doesn't it? Billiard table. Tables and chairs. Yes, absolutely. Tables and chairs. Okay. Items you might find in an inn. Okay. We have a bunch of them so far. Okay, so do we feel like we've mostly exhausted this list? I'm going to do a quick look to see if we can find anything suitable here. What do you find in an old inn? Sometimes this works for me, sometimes it just doesn't. What are the characters? How does an inn work? In a motel? No. The old inn. It's probably an advertisement for something. It is. It's an advertisement. Not hugely useful to me, unfortunately. All right, let's... Oh, there we go. That's something we can add here. A menu. You'd have menu. Luggage. Good point. Luggage. Absolutely. You'd have side table. Maybe. Or what is it? Is it a tall boy? The register logbook. Well, I think we've got that already. We've got the guest book. The guest book is the register logbook, basically. So, a trunk, clothes chest. Might just do this. Cut. Put that over here. Paste. And a drawers. Tall boy. Do you guys know what a tall boy is? I'm assuming you call it the same thing. Money. There may be money. That's true. There may be some money. We've got safe already. There is a safe. I said a safe, so I'll just put safe. Okay. Well, I think we have filled out what we needed to for that location. Let's move on to a different location and see what else we might need to include in a location like that. So the jailhouse. Oh, this will be interesting. How many of you have so the jailhouse. So what do you find here? I really want a story idea behind this as well. Hashtag. What do you find in a jailhouse? let's go old jailhouse. I think 1800s. Actually, back to the hotel, I would agree. A fireplace is probably very likely. I think that's a very, very good idea. Let's do that. You probably won't find one in a jailhouse, though. Let me just see. We can kind of... I want to do this. And go here. Go copy. And speed up this process just a little bit. And then let me find an A there. And a jailhouse. So, and then furniture you might find in a jailhouse. Yes. Mail cubs, I don't know about that one. Panel for keys, yes, probably. You won't be finding a sofa. You won't be finding these. Would you have a safe? You may have a safe, though. Billiard tables, you won't. Tables, chairs, not necessarily. Trunk, chest, no, let's get rid of this. It's probably going to be a bunk, not a bed. Bunk. Jailhouse. Items you might find in a jailhouse. Let's forget about that. Items, furniture. Okay. All right. Torture devices. Oh, I don't think so. Torch scotches. What's a torch scotch? Hello, Pale Rider. How are you doing? Hi, Derp. How you doing? Derp is a patron too, by the way. I just forgot that. I've been writing down everybody's ideas so quickly. Hidden tunnel, torch chamber, torch, executions chamber. Yeah, I don't think letters though. Letters, yes. Let's go with letters. Keys. Blood stains. You might find blood stains. The floor. The jailer's keys. An arms locker. I agree. An arms locker is something we should have. Cells. Yes, cells. Jail cells. And main office. Okay. Yeah, so I think that the problem with the torch sconce is it's a fabrication that you see in movies. The vast majority of those things, they didn't really exist inside a building, because they would burn a building down with that sort of thing. You might have a candlestick. It's much more likely you're going to light a place with candles and lanterns or lamps than you would with a torch sconce, because it's just too dangerous. So yeah, we'll leave that alone. Cells, barracks, guard room, cafeteria, kitchen, showers, yard. I don't think so. Think Old West, 1800s. Like, what do you find in a old jailhouse? It is. You think about an old jailhouse. They're so basic. Jailhouse. History of jailhouse accommodation. That's Christchurch. So let's go here. when you look at what a jailhouse was like, so manacles, chains, we were going to be, yeah, they're so basic. They're so simple. There's not a lot going on. Forget about this stuff here. Like we're dealing with this. This is the sort of thing we're dealing with here. This is the kind of thing we're more likely to have. It might have a table and a bench. Table and a bench, yes. Table, bench, seat. Desk or counter. I think we had a reception desk. Yeah. Ball and chain. Yeah, ball and chain. Yes, absolutely. Let's do the ball and chain. Manacles. Ball and chain. Manacles. Manacles, handcuffs are pretty much the same thing. Bloodstains, jealous. Prisoner's belongings. That's a good point. Haven't got that one. Okay. A neck chain. Sure. We can have many chains. Neck chain, sure. Neck chain. Prisoner's belongings. A piss bucket. Yes. Yep. Piss bucket. It's a chamber pot, really. A piss bucket is basically a chamber pot. A chamber pot. Oh, sure. So I'm just working on the jailhouse right now. You want to know what other locations we have. So we already worked on the schoolhouse. So we've got the schoolhouse here. Okay, this is the schoolhouse. And then we've also done the hotel inn. What we're also going to work on today, once we've done the jailhouse, is we're going to work on the tavern or the saloon. Right, this is where you get pissed. We'll deal with the general store, and we don't need to really worry too much about an abandoned house that much, but we will do something with it. We've got the cemetery, and we've got a church, I believe. We'll do the church. Hopefully we'll get that done today. And empty buildings are empty buildings. Crumbling buildings are crumbling buildings. So we've got sort of the essentials. Okay. So that's where my head has been at, is like, let's work on the absolute essentials to what you would find. Let's have a look at a couple of other things here. Jailhouse. Blankets. You might have some old blankets. We forgot about that. Blankets. They might be rotted by now. They might not. Quite likely they are. Next. What else have we got here? No. This is a bit too modern. And then, what's this? Oh, there's the piss bucket you were referring to. It's not really a chamber pot. So maybe we should have a chamber pot or a piss bucket. Let's put in both, shall we? It's just fun. Skeletons. Yes, you might well find skeletons in here. Yeah. Flea infestations. Oh, we're going into the... Okay. Flea okay. Pest. Well, Since you're so insistent, pest infestations. So we have fleas, ticks, kind of feels like the bed bugs, roaches, cockroaches, roaches. Is that cock? No, that's not the word. Cockroaches, rats, mice. Okay, so we got plenty of infestations here. Okay, that's wonderful. Let's see what else we have here. It looks a little bit too modern for my liking. Oh, there's not much going on here. That doesn't look fun. Anyway. Oh, this is New Zealand's P-tone. Really? The old jail. Information. Oh, this is just a tourist location stuff. Possibly small holes. Yes. Small holes in the wall. Okay, all right. Let's move on to our next one. I think it's time to do the tavern. I think we've determined that the internet really isn't helping us that much in terms of figuring out what these things should have in them, right? So it seems clear to me that it's up to us to figure out these things. So you might find in a, no, we're going to get rid of this. Ditch that. And in a tavern, I want you to think tavern, old tavern, people, not new. Yeah, it'll be something else. Taverns. Hashtag. No problem. I'll see you later, Pale Rider. Hashtag. What do you find in a tavern? In an old tavern. 1800s, people. 1800s. That's the sort of thing I think we're after. Okay. Tavern, you might have a safe, arms locker, don't know about that. Tables and benches, tables and chairs. You might have bench seats, chairs, wooden chairs. Okay, and this here in terms of things you would find, let's go tavern. You're going to find, I don't know about letters, get rid of this. Keys, manacles, bullet chain. A lot of this is just going to go. Okay. All right. We're ready. A piano, bar. Yes, the bar, the bar itself. Tables, chairs, benches, bottles, glasses. That'll be items. Glasses. All right, this is going off. Glasses, mugs, tin mugs. Probably not common, but you probably would have some. A piano. Well, that's more furniture, so let's put that in the furniture area. Piano. Baskets, barrels, yes. Casks, barrels, kegs. I'd agree. Casks, barrels, and kegs. I feel like they're more furniture rather than things, so let's go with going to be quite big. Casks, barrels, kegs. Yes, spittoon bucket. Very likely, yes. Spittoon bucket. You don't stick your hand on that thing. Spittoon. Okay. Harpsichord. Possibly. Yes, harpsichord. Harpsichord. Okay, we've got harpsichord. The mirror. Yes, a mirror. Yes, breaking the balls and mugs. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Large mirror. Probably a thing. Chandelier to swing. Chandelier. I don't know. Is an old school tavern going to have a chandelier? It may well do. I think some might have them. Okay, what are the features of a tavern? More upscale tavern type bars that serve food. Yeah, that's not what we're looking for. Tavern. Beverages, roast meats, cheeses. So there might well be a kitchen. So we probably in the what do we need? We need the kitchen, storage. It'll probably have a pantry. Main floor. Main. I'll just put bar area. Okay, menu. Yes, you would probably find a menu under items. Absolutely, I agree. Now somebody had said something about a chandelier. I was trying to figure out if that was the thing or not. Let's go back and let's go here. Okay, bottles, barrels. Oh, this is pretty, this roughing it pretty hard, isn't it? Playing cards. You might find playing cards and dice. Let's put playing cards. Dice. For all that gambling you're going to do. And then... what else have we got here? This is too upmarket for what we're looking for. So is this. What about that? Not a very good picture. You probably wouldn't have a clock. Clock's not a thing. Lanterns, candlesticks. Lantern. These are probably things you would definitely have. A blackboard. You probably would have a blackboard, wouldn't you? Most of these places have blackboards, don't they? Even now they have blackboards. Unless you're high end. A small stage and double it as a town theatre. Small stage. Yeah. Let's put small stage. Let's do that. A still to refine moonshine. I'm not putting that down. I don't think in the tavern you're going to be actually making alcohol. I think that's going to be happening somewhere else. Some had small wagon wheels with lanterns. Some had elaborate crystal chandeliers. Oh, that's right. Now I know. Yes, I know what you're talking about, Fred. Lanterns, wagon wheel. Wagon wheel and chandeliers. Whew. There's a bit. There's quite a bit. There's quite a bit. We've got quite a lot down. The ghosts of past ghost sounds of past merrymaking still haunt this building. We always want that. A dartboard. Yes, a billiards table, pool table. A cellar. Okay. You might have a cellar. Of course you would. You'd have your alcohol, so you would have to have a cellar. Wouldn't make any sense not to have a cellar, would it? But yes, a dartboard. I agree. The billiard table, I feel like it's furniture though. Billiard table. Okay, and then you need a dartboard. Throwing darts. Okay, yes. Local restaurant that has been open clear back to before US Civil War. The waitress still recite the menu. No printed menu has ever been made. Interesting. Interesting. A wanted poster. I feel like wanted posters is something we should have put into the jailhouse, which we may not have done. A message board, yes. I think a message board would make sense. But I think these are things that, yeah, I think the message board here, let's go here. Let's call out the bounty board, shall we? Bounty board, wanted posters. I think that would be sitting here for sure. Gambling tables, crabs. Yes, gambling tables. Yes, I'd say gambling tables. Well, we've got, I had dice down. Playing cards, dice. And then roulette wheel. Yeah, we can put that down. All right, got it. All right, so that's... I think we've done a reasonable job of filling that out, if you ask me. I think that's not bad, actually. That's pretty good. You might have a toilet. Or a bathroom. I think you'd probably have to have a bathroom of a tavern. There's going to be a lot of vomiting going on. Yeah, I put the bounty board at the jail. I put the message board that you suggested at the tavern. And the wanted poster I put at the jailhouse as well. So that's good. I'm going to take a break, and we're going to come back, and I think we should start tackling... The general store is such a broad topic. It would take us a long time. But I feel like the old church is definitely our next target. So let's go hashtag. What do you find in an old church? Now, that's our next task. That's what we're going to aim for. What's in an old church? And I'm going to take a quick break, come back, and we will continue until that is done. 5 minutes or less, I'll be back. Oh, you've been fast and quick. Talk about you've gone to town, big time. All right. Okay, let's go over here. I see you've come up with lots of ideas. So we will do our shortcut again. So that's worked for me pretty well. Just save a bit of time. And we're doing our church next. Okay. Church, we're going to get rid of this. And we're going to get rid of this. It's going to look a little different. And we're going to get rid of that, because that'll look different. So, we're dealing with a church. Okay. Church. And we need to have something. suitable for there as well. But let's go through your list, because I see everybody's got lots and lots of ideas flooding the chat. Shiner 81, what do you got here? You got pipe organ. That's furniture, isn't it? Pipe organ. Prayer books would be items. Prayer books, song books. There's the prayer book and there's the song book. Note that we have modernized used to using candles, where often they use small oil lamps. Yeah, oil lamps. So let's go candle, sticks, oil, lanterns or lamps. Okay. Now what is that? Incense burner. An incense burner. I agree. Let's do that. Stained glass window. Yes, we've got to have the stained glass window. Dear. Stained glass window. And then you've mentioned, what is this? Define rectory. A rectory's house, a church in England. Yes, what does that mean? Is a house that a church organised provided to the minister? Oh, I see. I see. Okay. Old church. Oh yes. Well, that ain't going to help us, not unless we're dealing with something like that. You won't be living in a place as small. I think for a town, we're probably not going to have a living space for them. More than likely, I think that would make not a lot of sense. Sensors. What's this? Victoria sensors. An unofficial, an ancient, no. Exam, a book, film, no. I'm not sure what this is referring to. I think I mean I've heard of them, but I don't know what it is. Rouse. Okay. All right. So let's see. I got to go back here, don't I? Candles. Yes, candles galore. We need to have a lot of candles. Candles. Yes. Pews. Pews is the seated bench, right? Pews. Altar. Yep. Lectern. Lectern, I think that's it. Lectern. Fancy windows, religious icons. Plates. The poor box. Donation. Poor box, and then there's the donation box, isn't there? What else? Collection of plates. Bell tower. Yes, bell tower. I agree. Crypt. I don't think you're going to have crypts and catacombs underneath a church. Not the size we're dealing with. It's a town. So yeah, I don't think so. Pews, yes. Bell tower, though, absolutely. And okay. Some churches started in the bar. Depends on, yeah. We're dealing with a very, very small sort of location. So what have we got here? We've got a few different things going on. Let's put matches. We can put pipe organ or piano. Lectern, pews. Let's get pews right. Songbooks, yep. Prayer books, and I got them. Prayer books and songbooks we've got on the list. It's on there. It's done. So what's the outstanding thing about a church? The whispered, the ghostly sounds of a chorus of singing. It's all right. You might be behind, but I had fallen behind a lot. But I've gotten down most of the things that people thought were sort of aspects of our church. Holy symbol. Yeah, we might have a holy symbol here. Good point. Holy symbol. And then the main area of the church. What's the thing, where you take confession? Is it a confessions box? Confessions booth? Confessions booth, is that what we call it? Secrecy. I'm so you know something I don't, and I'm unsure what this is. So let's take secrecy. A room in a church where the priest prepares for a service, and where vestments and articles of worship are kept. Okay. That would probably exist. Yeah, I would agree. That's a room that we need to include, isn't it? Let's make sure that's there. That's probably more important than everything else. Let's go right smack there. Hell territory. What do you call it? Is it vestments? Vestments. We need to have that. Okay. Have I got everything? I think I have. I think I've got everything down this time. And what was the other thing I wanted here? Vestments. Main church. I'm not sure what the main church area is called, so I'm just going to put main church. How's that? If somebody comes up with the actual name, you let me know, and I will write it in. Okay, So we've got that. We've got our furniture. I think you might even have a table. I think we'll put a table in here as well. Okay, so that is our ghost town church, the things that we're likely to find there, so we don't have to figure that out later on. So we've got a pretty good bunch of different things that sort of make that location a church. Sweet. So no, we're not going to do that one yet. We're going to go and we're going to do, I think we had started doing the cemetery. So I'm going to push this down so it's easier for you to see. It's all in one place. Hashtag. What do you find in a old cemetery? And that is our next question. Okay. Exposed graves, headstones. I guess headstones would be a common thing. We're not going to have rooms. That obviously isn't going to apply. Exposed graves, headstones. Oh, great. Yeah, or gravestones. You could say it a gravestone, yeah. Headstones or gravestones. We'll just put gravestones, so it's going to be easier to get at that done. Grave stones, yes. We want them. Monuments, there may well be. And statues. There's a lot of statues in some cemeteries. Statues, I come across them quite a few times. Monuments. Weeds. Yeah, we're definitely wet dead. Weeds. What else? Somebody said a mausoleum. Sometimes you might have to be a pretty fancy one, but yes, mausoleum. I'm going to say dead flowers. I don't know about you, but every time I go into a cemetery, there's urns with dead flowers everywhere. Urns, flower pots, okay, on pedestals, on pedestals. No, I'm not going to put toys there. I'll leave the toys line. What's the other thing that you see in there occasionally? Depending on where you are in the world, rotten food is actually because the people put food out. I think we may have got our cemetery mostly sorted out. What's the other thing that you find there? No, I think that's it. I think we've got it all. I think all the things that we need for our ghost town cemetery are fairly basic. I think it's a fairly basic location, which is one of the reasons why I decided we're going to cover that one, so it's done. And then we have the wet dead. Well, the wet dead, that is your ghoul. Don't need it. And I'm going to get this down real quick, people, so don't worry about it. Zombies. What was the other one? Yeah. That'll do. So, let's move on to our next thing. It's a crumbling building, an empty building. Of course, there won't be anything in the empty building. This location has no furniture. furniture, or items to find. Items to find. It is an empty building, but we will still have them. Okay, crumbling building. Okay, well, don't worry about that. Okay, next, an abandoned house, an old house. There's a lot of things that you'll find in an old house. If we try to cover that, it's going to take us forever. I'm not saying that we don't do it, but I'm inclined to think it's probably one of those things we come back to a little bit later. So let us do the general store. Now the problem with the general store is we can't list all of it as stock, because a general store will have so many different types of stock in there, so we won't deal with the stock. Okay, we'll deal with the other things. Hashtag what general store furniture and equipment would there be? Would there be? Try there. Try that. No stock. No sales. Good stock ideas. Too broad. Okay. Cash register. Yes, there we go. We're on our train again. And let me go down here. We're going to have probably rooms and items. Okay. Okay, get copy. Back to storage. General store. Paste that. And we will take out these. Get rid of that. Bar, stable, tables, chairs. It's probably going to have a safe. Bar, no. Key holder. Might have a key holder. Tables, chairs, benches, bench seats. Let's get rid of all of this. That's for something else. And then we get rid of the keys, bottles. Let's get rid of all that. And we'll make sure we got the right one, which is supposed to be that. Okay, and we'll make this a general store. And make that a general store as well. Okay, and that's a general store. Okay. Getting there. Okay, so have I got... yes. Well, we know what our purpose is for our general store, which is wonderful. So we don't have to worry about this. Okay, let's do this one. Cash register. That'll be under furniture. Cash register. Yes. Counter. Yes. Counter. Absolutely. A cash box. Absolutely. Cash box is probably going to be quite a bit smaller though. It's not going to be cash box. Cash box, keys, account books. What is it? Stock box, stock register books. What else? Shelves would be under furniture. And shelves is a thing. Absolutely. What else? A coffee grinder. Yeah, actually, probably right. I don't know that would necessarily be. I think old school 1800s. You probably won't have a coffee grinder that's that big. I'm going to put it under item. I've seen the old style coffee grinders that they used to have, and they weren't that big. Price tickets. Yes, price tickets. Mail service window. That would probably be under furniture. Mail, is that area? I think it's mail service window. Mail service, sorry. Service window. Okay, tables and chairs. I think I had tables and chairs here already. Tables, wooden chairs, yes. Playing checkers, cards. Customers sit and play checkers. I don't think so. A pot belly stove. Why would we have a pot belly stove? Different culturally, I think, is what we're dealing with here. But let's have a look here. General store. A general store, an old-fashioned general store. That's very American. This is the cultural clash of what we understand as a general store. Oh, lanterns. Lamps and lanterns. Lamps, definitely lamps. There's going to be some lamps. You would have hanging lamps for sure. So, here we go. So, lamps. Lamps. Or oil lamps. Oil lamps. Okay, so, core blimey. There's rather a lot to deal with, isn't there? And, apron. It's one of the things I noticed when I went to look at one of the museums is there always seems to be an apron. I'm not sure why. You'd have to explain to me why there's always, but I guess it's because you would be dishing out from the bulk serveries and jars, and so you would get stuff on you, and you're dealing with food sometimes. So I suppose that's why they have an apron, right? And there's been an apron somewhere. Threads and material. Oh, jars. Yes, various nuts and yes. Okay. So jars, absolutely. Jars. I would say bulk. Is it bulk bins? Bulk bins. A pile of paper bags. Absolutely. You're right. You're right on the money there, Shine81. A pile of paper bags. If they haven't rotted. Paper bags. Okay. Threads. Well, I don't want to. So prepare, cook, and survive. I'm going to avoid. Hello, how are you, by the way? Oil flasks. Oil flasks would probably be leading into sale items. So we're not going to cover all of the sale items in a general store. We're just dealing with the furniture that you normally find that's there for the purpose of the general store. It's their business in terms of their, yeah, but not the goods that they sell. And then the other thing I'm going to say is any items need to be related to the business of selling in the general store rather than the stock that they're selling. Otherwise, the list would get just crazy, crazy big. Pen and pencil. Pencils. Parchment. Okay, now rooms. You would probably have a storage room. A stock room near the back for restocking your shelves. Oh, God blimey. A bell. Yes, you would absolutely have a bell. There would be a portable bell. And then there would be the doorbell. Nice one, prepare, cook and survive. Well done. That was clever. We'd forgotten that. Okay. What do you find in an old general store? And what do you find in an old general store? Let's go here. Let's see if we can. This has almost never worked. So far it's been what items are found in a general store. Really? Staple foods such as milk, bread. So useless to me. Completely useless. Okay, that's what they would sell. It's not, yeah, but it's not the. It's not really the other stuff, because you would sell a lot of different things. Tape measure and scales. Good point. Yes, absolutely. Tape measure. Scales. A loading dock. Very nice if it backs up to the trucks. Well, if you had trucks, you might not have trucks. Loading dock. There may be a loading dock. There might not. I'm just thinking in terms of, like, if we go back and wind back and we're not dealing with a city, we're dealing with a town. We're dealing with a ghost town. Is that really the sort of thing we would have a loading dock? Barrels and crates would probably be a pretty consistent thing to find, right? So let's go barrels and crates. Okay. A stock cart. I believe you are right. Shopping baskets. Almost, yes, that might well be a thing too. Yes, let's do that. Shopping baskets. Shopping baskets. A stock cart. I agree. It's probably more furniture though, because it's going to be quite large. Stock cart. Merchants, I agree with, we shouldn't list it, but in maybe a summary, it's merchandise. Understood. Merchandise. So we will list the type of merchandise it might sell. Okay. Types of merchandise. Okay. I remember working at the hardware store, and the last thing I used to hate having to push the stock car cages around, because they would get loaded up by somebody else, and sometimes the way they loaded those cages was kind of nuts. Anyway. Right, so let's do what do you find there? Dry goods, tobacco, sundries, patent medicines. So let's do this. And now I cut a few things out, but we'll get our merchandise very generally in. Groceries, dry goods, tobacco, probably a thing, sundries, medicines. Okay. Oh. So here in the rear of the you might find kerosene, whiskey, and meat barrels. Candy. Actually, that's probably a good point. Candy. That was a big thing in these things, weren't they? General store had so much candy. And then the other one here we'll go with whiskey, kerosene, meat barrels. Copy. And okay. Paste. Whiskey, kerosene, meat barrels. Dried meat, it would be dried meat, wouldn't it? Dried meat, or would be, what's it called? Haberdashery? Yes. Oh, I can't remember. I'll just put dried meat. Dried meat. Let's get rid of that. Haberdashery. Cloth. Oh, jerky. It's jerky basically, isn't it? You guys call it jerky. Cured meat. There we go. Thank you. That's what I wanted. Cured meat. Dried meat, cured meat. Hello, Charles. Charles is also a patron. Welcome to the party. Cured meat. What else did I miss that I need to add in here? We've done really well, if you ask me. Milk, bread, groceries. Well, I think that's groceries. Hardware and electrical supplies. Yeah, there might be. And the Wild West. Now we're talking. Tea, spices, hard candies, denim clothing, sewing needles. So we haven't got tea, coffee, and spices. Pots, pans, lanterns, washboards would be hung from hooks on the ceiling. Okay. Let's put this in here, and then I think that's enough, because we could just go on and on, and this is why I was really reluctant to go over this particular section, because I thought this would get out of hand. Okay, let's do that. And put a comma, and that'll be enough. Paste. Pots, pans, washboards. Okay. Biltong. It's cured meat, right? Biltong is just cured meat, as far as I remember. Okay. All right, so we have our general store. We know what it is, what the purpose of our general store is in our ghost town. We've got our abandoned house. And trying to fill out all the things you would find in an abandoned house. I don't know. Is there time to do it? My general feeling is it's probably a bad idea to try. I probably should just get on my bike. But let's go hashtag and let's do this. What do you find in an old Western house. Let's go Western house. Okay. All right. Let's see how this works. I don't know how easy this is going to wind up being. I think this is going to wind up being a bit of a disaster myself, but I'm going to do a bit of a copy paste here, and we'll see how well we do. We'll do that. Room you'll find in a house, and we're not going to have a stock room, so we can forget about that. But we would have maybe a kitchen. Possibly a lounge or living room, bathroom, bedroom. Bedrooms. That's probably good enough. And then what you find, furniture you would find in there. House. There's so much furniture. We're not going to be finding these. Get rid of that. Mail service, no. Shelves, wooden chairs, yes. Bulk bins, no. Let's get rid of all that. That's not going to be there. Items you would find in a house. Well, the list is pretty much endless, so everything. I mean, what could you find in a house? I mean, yeah. Brooch, pictures, stirrups, saddle, beds, chairs, dining table. Exactly. It just goes on and on and on and on and on. Okay, so bed. Beds. Bunks, maybe. Wooden tables, shelves, cupboards. Cupboards. Yes, pictures. Let's go framed pictures. Pardon me. Framed pictures, wall mirror. Let's do that. Skeletons in the closet. Yeah, closet. Yeah, you probably have a closet. Oh, you reckon we have a closet? Closets. Closet. Yeah, there's room. Oh, maybe a desk, chest, clothes chest, drawers. Oh, was you in the closet? Okay. All right. A bookcase. Yes, let's put a bookcase in there as well. Absolutely. Bookcase. I'm going to put loom and spinning wheel. I don't know about you, but as I was growing up, there was always a spinning wheel in the house because my mum was always spinning wool. And I that may not be like a standard, but I kind of feel like if you wanted wool, you made your own wool. You didn't go and buy wool. You made your own wool. So yes, that's a very common thing for me to deal with. Furniture, a hat hook. Boot benches. What's a boot bench? I don't even know what is a boot bench? A boot bench? A hat. What do you call it? Hat stand. Coat and hat stand. Coat. and hat stand. I understand that coat and hat stand, so I got that down. All right, cool. Well, I think that's enough. So what did we do today? Well, we went back over the various bits and pieces that you might need to know around, we went over some adventure hooks for your haunted town or your ghost town. We also covered a lot of different things, and I'm just going to tidy this up a little bit. Role playing. Let's get that out of the way. And this random encounter stuff is, don't want numbers, I want bullet points. Really? Bullet points are fine. Why am I speaking to plants? Get rid of this. Oh, no, that's right. That's why that's there. I forgot about that. Almost got rid of it. This here, we will just go bullet point it. Now, my question is, do people feel that we have come to the end of what we need to do with ghost towns? Is there enough material there that we feel like ghost towns have been done to death? Because I'm tempted to replace ghost towns with a different location. I know that might sound strange, but no, I am thinking very seriously about replacing it with a new location that we would work on, rather than what we've been working on in the past, and move on to something else. If people are up for that, then that's all good. And if they're not, then they're not. So yeah, this is not working. Why is this not working? Oh, okay. Let's see, format, clear format. Okay, that might help. Then if I go italic, and then if I go bullet point, okay, that sort of fixed that most of it. Goes town, bullet points. And then I'm not even going to, yeah, they're going to stay numbered. Brilliant. Okay, cool. Uncle Fester, a dressing table. Furniture, cloak, cat. Yes, a big bench is a place to put your dirty boots so you're not stomping around. We were just required to leave our dirty stuff outside. Yeah, I think Shiner81, I think ghost towns are done to death. I feel like I'm at a point where I think I should just upload this in its final form onto Patreon for those of you who want to use it. Okay? And we should move on to something else. And if people are all for that, I'm all for that too. I probably will ask you what would be a good location to sort of shift to. I'm tempted to do the one that is so common. I've kind of talked about it before, but it's such a common location, people, and that is the tomb. Like, the tomb is such a common location to use in an adventure. And how a tomb is laid out, surprisingly, can vary, but they also tend to have the same elements. And so I think that might be a really good location to sort of explore and do what we've done here before. Like, look at terms of what would work well as random encounters, wandering monsters or wandering creatures, deal with the different locations you would find in a tomb, what you would find in those locations within the tomb, some adventure hooks to go with it, a dragon's lair. You want a dragon's lair. Interesting. Magnetic ore trap for mines. Well, we don't need to do mines. We already do mines. I already cover mines there's already one set up to do mines. So there's no point doing mines. A beholder's lair. I've done the beholder's lair. I don't want to do the beholder's lair again. But I would consider doing the dragon's lair and I would certainly consider doing tombs. So have a think about this. I will put up some suggestions. I will write down anything that you guys have sort of put here that I might. So I'm going to put down, I think Dragon's Lair is a viable option. Dragon's Lair. And I'll put down tomb. And if somebody comes up with another idea in the chat or in the comments, feel free to share it, and we might actually do that. That you might see the a wizard's tower. Holy shit! Yes, the wizard's tower. Wizard's tower. Okay. Hi Claire, how are you? Hi, I'm new to D&D and I'm here because I found your my fairy class video. Well, how are you doing? I'm glad you found the fairy video, and hopefully you liked it. Yeah, I understand. I know fairy race. Yeah, no, I understand exactly what you're talking about. So I've written down Dragon Lair as a possibility to replace the ghost town or the haunted town, the tomb, the wizard's tower, and maybe two more as possibilities will be forwarded to me so that I can do something with them. In any case, I have got to go to work. We will definitely be back to do more. Next week, what are we covering? I have no idea. That's not true. I do actually know what we're covering next week. Same time, same day, okay? We'll be going back to introducing quests. And I'll try to bring something new to present in terms of introducing quests that you might find useful. The Tower of Adamantium Glass, Special Wizard's Tower. Well, I mean, we need to be a bit more generic about it. If we're going to do Wizard's Tower, it has to be generic rather than a specific tower. Okay, I'm running adventure building tomorrow. Okay, so if you want to do a Wizard's Tower as an adventure tomorrow, then that's a possibility. In any case, I've got to go. I want to thank everybody. You guys have been great. Okay, it's been awesome. I haven't watched it yet. I came to watch it and saw you were live, and I plan to try a fairy bard. Well, all the best with your fairy bard. And I'm live every week, and I'm live about 6 times a week. Like there's almost one every single day. Like there's a lot of them. In any case, I've got to go. I want to say a big, huge thank you to all of my patrons who support me so I can keep running this program. You guys have been awesome. Your ideas have been fantastic. I really feel like we've fleshed things out quite nicely. I wouldn't say we've finished, but I would say there's only like the icing on the cake to sort out now, as far as I'm concerned. I want to thank everybody who's been watching, listening, answering the poll, and hey, look, thank you to everybody who took part today. I can't name all of you. There's so many of you, and I've got to get moving. So wherever you are in the world, whether it be the morning, the afternoon, the night, or the wee early morning, please look after yourself. Okay, be nice to your neighbours, and make sure your family and your friends are all good. Until next time, keep rolling those 20s.